Welcome to Breaking Down Bits, a conversation about great comedy bits with the comedians who wrote and performed them.
Welcome to Breaking Down Bits. I'm Brian Gendron.
I'm Drew Jordan, and man, we're so glad to keep this season 3 rocking. Things are going great with the Breaking Down Bits feedback mic on almost every Tuesday. We get to do that. You can hop in to do a few minutes, get some great feedback from comics all around the nation and the world. If you want to get in on that, breakingdownbits@gmail.com. Would love to have you come and join.
Yeah, we're there Tuesday nights, 9 p.m. Eastern. We've been doing it every week consistently. And everybody who's been on has been so great. I know it's helped me grow as a comic. And that's really what we're all about. Drew, we don't take enough time to mention what we're doing here. If you're in comedy, if you're new to comedy, if you're experienced in comedy, if you're thinking about getting to comedy, that you've come to the right place. We are newer comics. I just had my 2-year anniversary. I know Drew just had his. So we're not joke experts, but we bring in joke experts, pro comics, people that have been doing it for a long time. And we're here to learn alongside you. So thank you for joining us. But yeah, join our mic, email us at breakingdownbits@gmail.com and we'll get you up. We also have a number of episodes, a great catalog building of episodes that we've recorded. Breakingdownbits.com is where you can get to all of those. Our most recent with Graham K. Good time to get into callbacks. What you got, Drew?
Yeah, this another guy that has mentioned something that I've been kind of trying to work into my writing, which is just riffing with friends and how important that is. Like, I found a couple of people that I've been riffing with lately, whether it's a FaceTime thing or a hangout, or sometimes with people who aren't even comics, just riffing an idea, kind of going back and forth. And I found so many great tags that way. I've stumbled onto fun things that I might not have ever got to if I was just pen to paper. And Graham was another guy who mentioned that as part of his writing strategy. I can't vouch for that enough. It's been a really fun way to kind of, like, I don't know, just get out of your head and do something a little different.
Yeah, great call out too. Not necessarily even just comics. Just get out and talk to people. Everybody's getting vaxxed up. Like, go be social again, man. And you never know where you're going to find that tag, that joke idea. So great one. Great callback. Mine is always usually more industry. Yours is always more writing. And I think that's kind of true with who we are as comedians. But mine was just, that dude had the grit, like just the stick-wittedness to, originally came here as an illegal alien and then did New York and did it almost to the top until it stunted his growth. He wasn't able to get that, I think it was a Conan audition because he wasn't a citizen. Went back to Canada, started over again, had to work through to get his visa, this performance visa, and just the things that he rattled off that he had to do. He had to get paid a certain amount. He had to win competitions. He had to get these credits. Wild. And then got to LA and then that started there and then moved to New York. And it just goes to show you, if you're a newer comic and you're like, well, I got to do these mics every night and stay late and get bumped and eat shit. And dude, hey, look at his story and be inspired by how much effort he put in. So how much do you want it? I think Graham K proved exactly that in that interview. So you'll find it on breakingdownbits.com where you can find all of our interviews. And check us out. Also, I always forget to do this too, Drew. Follow us on social media at Breaking Down Bits. Unless you're on Twitter, it's Breaking Down Bit. One single bit, 15 characters.
Breaking down that one bit.
That's it. Ready to break down some bits with our guest?
Yeah, let's get into it.
Jerry Garcia won his first comedy competition when he was named Best Comedian in the San Diego Comedy Festival, and quickly also won LA's Funniest Comic Contest Headliner Division. He's been featured on various television shows such as HBO Latino, Laughs, Bite Size TV, and Stand Up and Deliver. He was also a featured member on Paul Rodriguez's Latin Kings of Comedy tour. Jerry made his Netflix debut as he co-starred in Chingo Bling's They Can't Deport Us All, and recently released his special, It's Not My Weekend, on HBO.
Jerry Garcia, how are you, man?
What's up, dog? How you guys doing? Good morning, everybody. Good Friday, yo. What's up?
Yeah, doing well, doing well. Glad to have you on the podcast. You know, Chingo Bling, local
Yes, sir.
Houston guy. And,
Yes, sir.
I love that you were part of that special. A very interesting, like co-headline special with Chingo, and I remember watching that one. It's so good. So thanks for taking some time out today with us.
Thank you, brother. Yeah, it was really literally a four-headed monster, man. It was Chingo Bling, obviously, and three. He brought three of us to feature that day, and it was amazing, man. It's a long story, man, but it made it happen, dude. It was fun.
Yeah. Do you make it to Houston very often? Is that a common stop on your trails?
Yeah, I planned to before 2020. Yes, it was at least once a year. Going out Pasadena, Texas. I hear that's by Houston. Yeah. I'll be out there. I'll be out there in April, as a matter of fact. No, in May. I'm sorry, May. I'll be out there in May.
Oh, awesome.
But yeah, I try to make it to Houston. Improv is usually the club that I work out. Pasadena, Texas is gonna be my first time going there in May. But yeah, the whole Texas run is a part of me, and I try to make it out there at least twice a year, at least minimum.
I will caution you, Jerry. Get Pasadena, California, out of your head. When you visit Pasadena, Texas. I
can imagine it's gonna be a lot different, dog. Pasadena, California is its own beautiful little wildflower out here, dog.
It's not that. It's not. But we're happy you're coming back to Metro Houston, and we'll have to catch up again. We caught you last time you were here, working the Improv, which is a great club here. So you've done a little bit of road. You've been able to manage to do some road work. Get the hell out of LA, where there's obviously not a lot of work right now. But one of the things we like to do, Jerry, is just understand your career. You know, in the intro, we talked about comedy contests and ascending through and winning those, and then getting some breaks. And we like to hear your story and framed in such a way that people can, if people are starting out, can be inspired by some of the things that happened to you along the way.
Yeah, this is a dope concept, man. I wish I had something like this when I was starting off, man, because I was lost, man. I was a lost duck, bro. So I started late in my life, man. I'm 41 years old now, dog. I just turned 41 in February, and I started when I was 29 years old, man. I started back in 2009, bro, and late 2009. It was like October. I remember it was during the fall season. I remember Halloween was coming up, and I just kept pushing back the comedy game forever, dude. I knew I wanted to be a comedian since I was a teenager, man. I did the old, I won the funniest kid in school, in the yearbook, in middle school, and in high school. And when I was in my 20s, I was just like goofball, making everybody laugh on my friends' laugh. And I would tell everyone, I'm gonna be a comedian, bro. I'm gonna be a stand-up. I'm gonna go into stand-up. I'm gonna go. I said the same story for like 10 years. A lot of people got tired of hearing it, dog. You know, every girlfriend I had, every friend I had was like, fool, just shut up and do it, dog. When are you gonna do it? No, I'm just getting ready. No, you gotta write. You can't just go up there and freestyle. I gotta prepare myself, you know, or I don't have the time for it. I'm working 2 jobs right now, dog. There's no time. It was every excuse in the book I had, fool. But in the meantime, I was making every coworker, every supervisor, every boss I had laugh their ass off. That was my thing. That was my way to make friends. That was my way that's how I met girls. That's how I got laid, basically, bro. And that was my life, dude, just making people laugh. And eventually, my friends, honestly, I have maybe like 3 or 4 friends, so I still talk to. Obviously, they're older now, but they're the ones that kept pushing me, like, yo, when are you going to make this happen, dude? And one of them actually literally signed me up into a amateur night. It was a contest, and he signed me up in North Hollywood, Comedy Club. At the Haha Comedy Club in North Hollywood, and he just called me up one day like, yo, man, I just signed you up to be to this amateur. It's like right around the street from my house, man. I saw the sign, and I called him, and I told him to put down Jerry Garcia. Jerry Garcia will be there, type of thing. And I was nervous as shit. I almost shit my pants, but you know, I gave him my word. I'll be there. And I went, and it was really bad. It was really, really bad. Yeah, it was horrible. But no, I think me bombing so bad and doing so bad, I think is what made me want to do it again, because I knew that I was better than that. It's like one of those like, yo, no, guys, you don't understand. Like I got off stage saying, no, guys, wait, I'm better than this. Trust me. Like I know I'm better than this. And Obviously not saying it out loud, but in my head, I was like, no. This is not how I'm going to end my career here. Like, I'm better than this. I know I don't have the stage right. I know I'm ready. I know I'm funny. I know I did really bad right now. I got no laughs. Let's figure out what I did wrong, kind of shit, right? So like, I got to figure out what I did wrong, and we'll go from there. But that night was an amazing night. Very, very, man, it was very embarrassing. It was a very embarrassing night, but I went home wanting to do it again.
Humbling.
That's a fun trait, I think, that you hear a lot from successful comics is there. And to me, maybe the most fun part of comedy sometimes is failing. And then instead of being depressed and wanting to quit, you go, oh no, I've got to do better. And you get addicted to it. And then you're like, I gotta keep working.
Well, my ego was hurt. I think what happened to my ego, obviously, right? Your ego got punched in the gut. I'm 29 also, so I'm a little older, a little bit more mature. And I, at the end of the day, I know it's not the people's fault. It's not everybody's fault. I know I wasn't prepared. So it was one of those things like, wait, if I prepare myself, maybe I could do better. I don't know, maybe because being 29, it kind of helped me kind of just, like, if I feel like if I was 21, I'd be like, fuck these people. Fuck this place. Fuck everybody here, dog. I'm done. You don't need me. I don't need you. Like, but no, at 29, I got off the stage like really humble.
To get to a place where you felt like you were. Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. My computer glitched there for a second. How long did it take you to get to a place where you like were feeling comfortable and like, okay, now I'm starting to get laughs? Like how long until you were like, this is kind of working?
Not to brag, but not that far into it, bro. Within a few months, man, maybe 3, to be honest with you. And the reason for that is because I went gun ho, bro. Like after that day, I started hitting the mic at least 3, 4, 5 times a week, as often as I could. And I started embracing and soaking everybody in, and I was picking everybody's brains, and I was making friends with other comics, dude. And again, being older, and obviously being a nobody, people were happy to help. At least the guys that I ran into. I will just ask a ton of questions, bro. And what's your writing process like? And what do you do if you're not doing good? Or what about, anyways, I'm getting questions and just watching a bunch of comics go up, and I'm writing, and I started to figure out like, what is it that makes people laugh at that time, right? At that time, well, what can I talk about? Mm-hmm. Anyway, before I knew it, within 3 months, man, I had a good little sharp 5 minutes, man. I had a sharp little 5 minutes that were working every time. I wrote like 3 little cool little clever jokes that people liked, and I just kept doing those same 3 little bits over and over and over until I started manifesting more material. But to tell you the truth, within the first 3 months, man, I had a good little 5-7 minutes build up, but I had a lot of people helping me, dude. A lot of people would help me. They would give me little pointers and stuff like that.
I'm glad you brought that up, because that's where this show was born. Basically, what Drew and I discovered was once the pandemic hit, we weren't able to be in the green room anymore with the comics that were further ahead, and we weren't able to ask those questions and get those pointers that you were talking about. And so we're like, well, we can't get it. Nobody can get it. Let's put this out there, and let's line up these interviews so we can still at least get that content, so that when things do come back, we're more prepared.
Yeah, this helps a lot. I mean, I really enjoy when people pick my brain at shows, bro. For what, just to have even a casual conversation about comedy. It doesn't have to be intense or very educational. I don't have all the answers yet, man. There's still things that I'm still figuring out here and there on stage. Like I want to do better at crowd work. Crowd work is something that gets me out of my comfort zone. I'm a joke writer, dog. So I stick to the jokes. I stick to my material. I stick to what I know works. But at the end of the day, I also, as I'm doing 45 minutes to an hour now, I have to do crowd work. I have to mix it up. And crowd work, again, it's not my comfort zone. I'll do it as a survival tool, but not as I want to do it tool. Does that make any sense? So I start to do is pick people's brains who do a lot of crowd work, and I'll start messing with. I just like having conversations with them, like, why did you mess with that person? Why did you go there? What made you go there? What blah blah, and just how their brain thinks when they're on stage, type of stuff. That's stuff that I'm still kind of figuring out.
Yeah. So what happened next in your trajectory towards where you are now? 3 months in, You have your 5 minutes. You're doing the mics. What happens next?
I caught a lot of breaks, man. To be honest with you, even today, I'm still catching breaks, man. But I caught a lot of breaks. But you take advantage of those breaks, man. Within my 3 to 6 months in the game, I ran into a few national headliners there at those comedy clubs. At the time, we're talking about 12 years ago. So these guys are they're not doing it as much as they were back then, but they were really hot. There were comics who were really hot in the 90s and early 2000s, who are now not as popular anymore, but they were pretty good names. They had Showtime specials at the time and HBO specials here, Comedy Central specials in those times. Guys like Jeff Garcia, Willie Barcena, Johnny Sanchez, who was on Mad TV. So these guys, like, again, these are national. They're older now, but at the time they were hot, and they're so I got really fortunate enough that where they would take me on the road with them. So I would go on the road. I was literally either the host or the guest spot guy, and I would drive and I would just, maybe not exactly carry bags and stuff like that because I was 30 years old almost at the time, but I was literally just learning like an intern with them. And I got really lucky, to be honest with you, man. They would do that for me. They would take me. Within my first year in comedy, I was in Phoenix, Arizona. I was in Sacramento, California. I went to Denver, Colorado, El Paso, Texas. All within my first year and a half in comedy. Again, only doing 7 minutes, man. I was not trying to stretch it to 10 because I knew I couldn't get there. So it's not that I was killing it on stage, but I was really finding my niche.
But they saw something. They must have saw something in you. I mean, you can't attribute it all to luck, right? You had your 5 minutes. It was fairly good, or at least at the time you thought it was. And
yeah.
So it's not just luck. It's also being in the right place. It's asking the right questions, not being annoying and weird.
Yes.
So you must have done something to gain their. They want to help you out.
Yes, and yes. Agreed, dog. I was never the annoying cat. I was a friend, a good guy, a guy they can trust. Again, older, mature, asking the right questions, staying out of the way, just being a fly in the wall, just being spoken to when they speak to me, type of thing. But at the end of the day, I think friendships kind of grew a little. Like, hey, everyone would just, when you're a good guy, you're a good person. Hey, the word gets out. Like, hey, this guy's a good guy. This guy's cool, man. I like this guy. I like this kid. This kid's good. These guys going places. And then they see me on stage and actually get laughs or do fairly well. They want to hang around with you even a little bit more. They don't want to be hanging around the guy who goes out there and stinks it up and bombs it up every time. But so when they see us alive, they'll come up to me like, hey, that bit you did, that was pretty funny, man. About your boss, man. That was pretty funny, dude. This and that. And they give me a tagline or something. And, you should try this next time or say it this way or blah, blah. And so, yeah, man, they help. They help. And before I know it, they're like, hey, what are you doing next weekend, man? You want to go to Phoenix? And I'm like, yeah. Because there's no pay, bro. But if you're down to come, man, you know what I mean? I'll buy you some dinner and stuff. You can crash with me. Fuck yeah, let's do it, dog. Grown-ass man going on the road and shit like that. And, yeah, I learned a lot, to be honest with you, man.
When you were in that stage, in that year, and you're starting to do those, are you still working full-time elsewhere? Or
I was.
How you doing that? Yeah.
I was. Just trying to juggle it, man. Just trying to juggle it. And again, man, it's crazy, dude. But, my job at the time, I was like the class clown of my job, dude. I was making everyone at my job. So my boss was really cool with me. My boss was like, pursue your dream, man. Follow it. You're funny. You got something, dude. I would before being a comedian, dude, I would write speeches for my boss to present to the board of directors, and I would give them like little jokes. Dude, I did a roast one time. I roasted one of our directors. We roasted a director, and I wrote pretty much all the jokes, man. And this is when I was like 25, 26 years old. So I knew I can write. I knew what comedy was. I knew what it is. So yeah, my boss would come to me like, hey, man, I'm doing a speech. You might give me like an opening joke or a little something, dude. And I would just write them a little something about the weather or about some current event, and just give them a little tagline on it. It's crazy. So anyways, they gave me the green light. Most of it was weekends anyway. I was 9 to 5 Monday through Friday. So if anything, I was just taking Fridays off at the time. Yeah, we would leave Friday morning, either drive to Sacramento or drive to Arizona or drive to San Diego. 3, 4, 5 hour drives, man. It's not too bad.
Yeah. So what next? You start doing these. When do you start getting into some more time and these next breaks start happening for you?
Yeah, so I caught Jeff Garcia was a guy who we became very close. He's a national headliner at the time. We became very close, and I became his go-to guy. So I was a go-to guy. I started as a host. Before I knew it, within my second year in comedy, I was his full-time feature act. So I got up to 15, 20 minutes. At the time, still struggling to get to my 20 minutes, but I was getting there. This whole time I'm writing, but obviously a lot of jokes are not working or not doing so well. So it was always a work in progress. But before around year 2 or 2.5, I had my 15 minutes, 20 minutes by that time, and I was featuring for him. It was very exciting, very nerve wracking. But yeah, when I got to 15, 20 minutes, I had no idea how am I ever gonna get to an hour, dog. This is all I got. I just shot my load right here, bro, on my 20 minutes. This is it for me, dog. How do people get to an hour? It was such an amazing concept to me, dog. But it comes, dog. Like you guys were talking earlier in your opening line. It's just being around people, just talking, making friendships. All this material comes out of it, dog. Living life. Just living life. By that time, I've got kids, man. So by that time, my kids are growing up. They're 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. By the time you know it, and there's just more and more material from them. Yeah, then I have the baby's mamas, and then talk about them, talk about family, talk about friends, talk about all the other shit that's going on in my life, and everything all builds up, man. There's material everywhere, dog. Material everywhere.
Yeah, I find that I'm less and less, and maybe it's not a great thing, but I'm less and less sitting down and like scheduling out an hour to write, and I'm more and more just constantly taking little notes and snapshots and ideas, and then coming back and sitting and running through them later at this phase in my comedy journey.
I like that. No, I like that. For me, yeah, sitting down and writing is very difficult for me too, unless it's a specific project that I'm working on, like maybe like a roast battle or something like that, or just something specific that I want to write about. But other than that, no, I can't just sit down and be like, let me see, what's funny to me? Avocados. You know what I mean? Fucking mountain bikes, and then, that's not how I work. My process, things that I hear, things that I see, my kids do, I do, things that get me upset. Why do I get upset about that? And I'll just write it. I'll just jot it down on my phone. And these are my notes on my iPhone. Right? Let me see if I could focus in. I don't know if I can focus in, but these are all the iPhone notes.
Yeah, same.
Tons, bro. Tons. Like all day, just writing stuff down. Write it down, jot it. Everything, dog. You just write it down, and I get back to it if I think it's worth it.
So we've kind of already made the transition into writing, which is good. It's about that time. So we got an idea of where this starts. Now, then, how do you turn this into material? So you get these notes. Now walk us through your writing process from there.
For me, it's on stage, dog. I'll spit it on stage, man. And to be honest with you, I've worked both ways. I work backwards within like punchline and then back to the setup, or sometimes I just have the setup and I work my way to the punchline, right? So I've done both routes, but sometimes it's just spitting it out, man. For example, let me see if I can find something here. So like, for example, my breakups are tough, right? So breakups are tough. That's a setup, right? So what is funny about a breakup? So like, for example, this is something I haven't tried yet on stage, but I don't even know if it's hacky. It's something I just thought about. So, but I was like, breakups are tough. I hate breaking up. Breakups are tough for me. Like I broke up with my girlfriend 3 weeks ago, and she doesn't even know it yet. So I have to figure, it's gonna be awkward because her birthday's coming up, and when I bring a date, for dinner.
Yeah.
And so those are like little notes. So I bounce back and forth to see what, and I'll say that on stage as a matter of fact type of thing, or I'll say it as a bit, kind of get a reaction, kind of see what people liked about it, and then where people maybe laughed or didn't laugh, and then I'll bring it back to the board. Okay, all right, that was cool. I'll bring that back. Yeah.
When you said that, the funny part to me is like you don't have like the emotional courage to like break up with her, but you've already broke up with her in your head, so you've moved on. And so being in that space is a great premise. And then what you just did there is like, and this, I imagine you do this with friends and people that maybe you're on the road with. You just throw that out there and then workshop it and see what comes out of it. So that's great.
Yes. I like that.
Thank God for good friends who will put up with comedians just constantly banging material off them. And and sometimes I'll sit down with my friends and be like, hey guys, I'm working on a couple jokes, or I'll call someone out of the blue and just be like, hey, I got to tell you this. What do you think? And just like magic sometimes happens out of that. And just praise God for those people who can put up with that and will bounce back, even if they're not comics. That's the best.
With my kids too, I test a lot of material with my kids.
I was just gonna ask you. Yeah, that's a good test too, right?
They're harder on me, dog. They don't like. They're 13 and 14 now. They think they're too cool, dog. The older ones.
Well, the idea there is like, audiences as a whole aren't. You have to treat them like they're dumb. I'm not saying they are dumb, but you have to treat them like they're dumb just to make sure it's clear.
Spoon feed them. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And so a good test for that is to run it by a fifth grader. Yeah.
So when it comes to preparing for a specific show, what do you do to prepare? So you got a big gig coming up. What do you do to prepare in the maybe weeks and days before? And what do you do those last minutes before you step on stage?
Okay, as far as weeks and days, I try and get us up as many mics as possible. Obviously, it's been tough lately, but that's usually been my mantra, to get up as many shows as I can. That's when I will pop into those one shows, bar shows, and any little independently produced shows. I'll just pop in and ask for a few minutes just to stay sharp. It's not even that I'm working the actual material, but just to stay sharp and on my feet, right? Yeah. And to work out the tweaks on some of the bits that I'm not too confident about, right? And I'll try and get those out there. But also to build confidence, man, just to do my old material, even if it's my old material, and just to build some confidence and that, right? Just build confidence, like going to the gym, right? As soon as minutes before I go on stage, let's say, for example, like my special and all that, man, I do go over my notes. I'm reading, I'm staying in the zone. I'm by myself as much as possible. But sometimes I worry about overthinking it too much right there, and overstressing. Like for example, for my HBO special, it was a one-shot thing. It was a 30-minute special, but I did 45 minutes. And so even then, I forgot a couple of key jokes that I really liked, and I forgot them, and I didn't do them, and I hated myself for that. And even for a few minutes right before getting on stage, I'm reading through those same jokes that I forgot. So it's almost like an over-planning situation or overthinking it, right? So like, man, I remember I got off stage, I was like, fuck, dog. That I specifically wrote that joke for this type of shit. And again, it still happens. At the end of the day, I just want to be in the zone. I need a little bit of quiet time, a little me time, just to collect my thoughts. And then hit that stage. I hate when there's like too much commotion going on in the green room or too much stuff going on. I like to listen to the audience, listen to what they're laughing at, how loud they're laughing, are they laughing? At the comedian in front of me, or the opener, or whatever. I like to just, I don't really necessarily hear what he's saying. I'm more paying attention to what the audience is doing. Is the audience there?
I want to unpack two things. So the first is we don't hear about it a lot, but it's a great confidence. Just build up your confidence level approaching these mics. And the other thing I wanted to hit on was after a show, people, they, in their opinion, you're like, hey, you had a good set. You were really funny. And I'm just like, no, fuck, man. I missed like the one punch that I really wanted to hit, or I missed this tag. And like, you're upset, but they're like, they want you to be happy you had this great set. And
I missed a few tags on my special that I'm really upset about. But people don't know that. Yeah. At the end of the day, people don't know that. That's another thing I tell young comics, especially comics who are doing it for only 1 or 2, 3 years. Dog, the audience doesn't know you've been doing it for 1, 2, or 3 years, dog. There's no reason for you to even let them know that hey guys, this is my 3rd time on stage, or I've been doing comedy for 2 years. Another thing I don't like is when new comments is when you guys talk about your day job a lot. Like, fool, like people don't need to know that. They don't really care. If you want to talk about your day job, talk about your day job as past tense. Like, I used to work at the store. I used to work at, I don't care if you're currently doing that, or I used to Uber. Don't do it, because I feel like the audience will lose a little respect for you. Like, they don't see you as a real comedian when you start talking that you're working at the supermarket. Oh, I'm currently working at the supermarket. Then the audience would be like, then why should I listen to you? How are you gonna make me laugh? You're not even a professional on there. Or sometimes if they pay tickets to be there, they're expecting professionals, or they see anybody who goes up on stage as a professional. I don't know if you remember as an audience member, when we were audience members going to a show, you don't know who's famous and who's not, dog. You know what I mean? You don't know who's done. They bring up everybody with the same credits, right? Comedy Central, Showtimes, this and that. You believe that, right? And then he goes up there saying, I was at the supermarket because I worked there. They're like, really? They just told you that you're for Showtime. They're like, what's going on here? What I'm trying to say is that, yeah, like I said, it's almost like the dumb audience. Audiences are not dumb, dude. They're gonna be more open to you if they know it's a professional right there on stage. And it's all about confidence, stage presence. Yeah, talk about your day job, but talk about it as a past tense if possible.
Yeah, that's a good point, because you kind of undercut your credibility right there.
Undercut credibility. That's a good way to put it, though. That's kind of the word I was looking for.
Yeah.
Those little cheat things that'll help you get more laughs, bro, because people will take you more serious. People will take you as a comedian, and they don't know you. That was my thing, dog. When I was in there, when I was 6 months in the game, 1 year in the game, people didn't know that. People didn't know that I was doing it for 6 months, fool. Yeah. They just knew that I was funny and that I was making them laugh. And people would come up to me after shows and be like, "Hey, bro, you were hilarious, man. We wanted to see more of you. Why did you only do 7 minutes?" In my head, I was like, "That's all I can do, dog." But to them, I would be like, "Oh, that's all they gave me, dude. I was just doing a little spot here, or I was just, I'm hanging out tonight, or oh, he was nice enough to let me on. I'm not supposed to be here today." That's all. They're just leaving like, "Whoa, you were fucking hilarious, dog. Holy shit. What, I want to see you again." But I'm like, please don't for another year, because that's how, you're gonna hear the same shit again.
Yeah, really smart tips on the job thing. I was in my head, I was redlining so many of local comics material, and not even just put it, like you said, stash it in the past, make it something that you did do. And I think because you were coming into it older, and Drew and I are even older than you were when you started. I think we approach it differently, and we approach it more, we're in a space where we can approach it more professionally. Yeah. And you just said, like, just go on stage and fake it till you make it kind of deal. You only have 7 minutes, but act like, hey, they only gave me 7. I got an hour, for all you know.
Yes, dude, trust me. And those, dude, I have fans from my year one, like, we're like, dog, we didn't know you were starting off at the time. We thought you were like a real fucking comic at the time, that we started following you because we thought you were funny. And they've been following me since then. Like, I have a lot of fans like that. Dude, back then there was no Instagram or anything, so I had a Facebook. And so, dude, within my first year, I had 1,000 fucking people following me, dude. Like within a year of me doing 5-7 minutes, guest spots, dog, bar shows, fool. Like, yeah, I was going to Arizona's and Denver's, but I was doing 5-7 minutes. And back then, I would get off on my Facebook, 20 new followers, 25 new followers, like, well, I'm a nobody, dog. But before I knew it, I had 1,000, 1,500 on Facebook. And for me, that was a lot. Like, I could never imagine getting to 1,000 followers within my first year of comedy, dog.
Well, talking about that, that seems to be such an important piece for comics these days, is your social presence and creating digital content. What did you do to get people? Were you sharing jokes there? What were you doing on your social media to get people to follow you, or were you pushing it on stage?
Pushing a little bit of everything. I would back in the day before Instagram. I'm an Instagram whore now. I like Instagram a lot. It's simple. It's I just do the stories. I don't feel like putting nothing on my feed, I just put something on my story real quick. But as far as Facebook, I remember I was looking back at a lot of my Facebook memories, and I was posting a lot of my jokes, corny ass, cheesy ass jokes I was posting at the time, right? Yeah. I was doing my fucking Lent jokes and my 4th of July jokes and my tax season joke and all these dumb jokes for every little fucking time of the year. Yeah. And ended up posting funny pictures of me at shows and stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, I think just having a personal connection with people is just on social media, it helps a lot too, man.
Yeah, it's super important for comics these days. I feel like it's especially with the pandemic, we were forced to all become kind of digital content creators to some degree if you wanted to keep doing any comedy.
Yeah, I did a lot of it, dog. During the pandemic, I did a lot of it with my kids, a lot of it with my friends. I actually had a really good time. I did do more skits than ever in 2020. more shit like virtually more in 2020. I got a TikTok and all that shit, dog. So and a lot of now I'm kind of phasing down again. As shit starts opening up, I'm getting concentrating back on the writing and back on getting on stage. And it shouldn't be that way. That's not. I should keep it up, fool, because it was fun. I was getting a lot of engagement. I hit a couple of videos. I hit close to 1 million views and stuff like that. So I should keep it up. There's something there, dog. Yeah. But I always don't, man. I do tend to concentrate more on the stand-up side of the business.
Yeah, I get that. But yeah, you should definitely keep it up because it's crazy. We had a local comic who has done really well on TikTok, and it actually got him a feature spot or an opening spot with Russell Peters. Sure. Russell Peters saw that TikTok, or one of his people did, and he reached out, and it's crazy the connections that even local comics are making when these videos and TikToks and stuff kind of pop off.
Yeah, hell yeah, there's definitely something there, man.
Well, let's move into the clip. So set us up for this. This is obviously, or this was in Houston. This is the Can't Deport Us All with Chingo Bling. What was going on that day? That room? Anything you remember specifically about that?
Well, first of all, we were there a whole week, dog. So we were there. We got there. We shot that. I believe that was a Thursday night, but we were there from Sunday through Friday, or Sunday through Saturday, because not only did we do the special, did we shoot the special on Thursday, 2 shows. But we did skits in between every comic. So every day we shot. It was an actual production, bro, like at a studio and on location, and they closed on the streets. It was a pretty big budget thing, man. And we had costume designers, we have whole grips, camera crew, everything. We had a crane on one of the things. When we were doing the opening credit scene, we were getting chased in a truck. There's a whole crane behind us following us, dog. So it was pretty dope, fool. And so it was a whole production, a whole week of it, and we did rehearsals the night before, and got there to the theater early, bro. We had different wardrobes they had to okay and approve for us to wear. Man, it was crazy, man. It was really cool. Just fun, exciting time. I was just soaking it all in. This was in 20. We shot that in early January of 20. You know when we shot that special, the actual day? No, that wasn't that. It was the day before. The day that Trump got inaugurated.
Oh wow.
So whenever that was. That was January 2017, Don.
Or something like that.
Yeah.
Right?
So it was like January 20th. He got inaugurated like on a Tuesday, and then we recorded we did that like on Thursday. Yeah, I remember we were really deflated during that time, and we were all of us really upset and just in shock still. But yeah, that week of the inauguration, we were there. I remember watching in our hotel rooms and shit. And but shooting the special really took our minds off of it. So we recorded. So we filmed it January 2017, and it released in June of 2017. I mean, 6 months later.
Nice.
It dropped on Netflix, and in fact, it was one of those things where, like, man, I was actually losing a little bit of hope because they told it was gonna be. And first of all, it was gonna be for Cinco de Mayo. They said, "Oh, it's gonna premiere Cinco de Mayo weekend." We're like, "Cool." Cinco de Mayo came and then it didn't drop, and I'm like, "Oh my God, no, this is not happening." And so, obviously we're hitting up Chingo, and Chingo was going on, and he had no idea what was going on. I don't know, man. It was supposed to drop in May, nothing. Now they're saying June, maybe July, and we got. It's not gonna happen. Oh my God! And but yeah, sure enough, June 1st it dropped, and it was a very special time, man. Very special. It was great, man.
Excellent. I'm gonna go ahead and roll the clip.
I got 2 boys, man. 2 boys, 5 and 6, man. 2 little beaners, 2 little brown guys. 5 and 6, dog. 5 is one darker than the other one, fool. One looks like 9 p.m., the other's like 11 p.m., dog. Don't get me wrong, like I love being a dad, man. I love being a father, dude. Especially when it's not my weekend. Like that's the best time. Right? I love missing them. Wondering what they're doing. It's the kids, man. It's the kids, dog. Because I got boys, dog, the question will come up, right, fellas? The question comes up like, hey, so what are you going to do if one of your kids grows up to be gay? I'm gonna love my son, dog. I'm gonna support him no matter what. Now his boyfriend, fuck that puto, dog. That's a different story. Eh? That fool better not come around the house honking and shit. This fool better get up and ring the doorbell like a true gentleman, dog. Because daddy didn't raise a whore, is what I'm trying to tell you. I'm gonna have my son on birth control pills, Dick. Come on. And they say, how do you know he's gonna be the taker, Dick? I'm like, Dick, look at me, fool. He's gonna be the taker, dog. It's in the genes, fool. The skinny jeans. It's the kids, dog. It's the kids, fool. Right? Fathers, I don't think we get enough appreciation for what we do, dog. We do a lot, right? For Father's Day, though, I don't know why we bother with this holiday, dog. Father's Day is nowhere near Mother's Day, fool. Right? For Mother's Day, we go all out, dog. We go hard on Mother's Day, and you deserve it, ladies. I love my mom to death. We go hard, fool. Right? On Mother's Day, we get you guys the flowers, right? The jewelry, the presents, the dinners, the mariachis if you're balling, right? Dads, what do we get on Father's Day, dog? No, you know what we get? You know what we get? We get a barbecue that we have to cook, fool. You know what I got? You know what I got on Father's Day? I got my kids on Father's Day, dog. If you don't get it, it wasn't my weekend, Dick. I have plans, dog. Somebody said tie. Yeah, I got a tie, Dick. I got a tie. I don't wear ties, fool. Last time I wore a tie, it was for court, and I lost. My child support went up, Dick. But you gotta love the kids. You have to love the kids, dog. That's what the judge told me, fool. We do what we can, dog. We do it all for the kids. We do it all for them. Right? I took him to Chuck E. Cheese, dog. Chuck E. Cheese. You been to this fucking place, dog? Chuck E. Cheese is like a casino for kids, dog. Right? That's their Vegas, fool. Right? Like they go in there ready to party, ready to have a good time. One of my kids got naked, dog. The fat one at the buffet, fool. And just like us in Vegas, they think, dog, they're gonna hit it big, right? They think. Oh yeah, they think they're gonna win the biggest prizes in there, right? They want the mountain bike, right? That's up high that no one's touched in the 80s and shit. Right, like it still has an E.T. basket in front of it. And why? Because it's worth 2 billion tickets and shit. But that's what they're shooting for, right? That's what they want. Right? And just like us in Vegas, right? They become like little fiends, right? They're like, just like every 5 minutes, like, come on, Dad. Just 5 more bucks, Dad. Come on, Dad. The machines are hot. Right? The slots are loose. I'm like, the slots are loose? Where'd you learn that, man? And where'd you get the cigarette, dude?
Oh man.
Yeah, man.
Very good stuff, Jerry. One of the things I noticed with your comedy overall is, and something that I want to get better at, you want to get better at crowd work, well, me too, but the one thing I want to get better at is misdirects, and your misdirects are so solid. You find a way to get to the things we're not expecting, and I think you do a masterful job at that.
Thank you, brother. Yeah, I love that. That's my favorite part of comedy is the misdirection, dog. Even the simplest joke can become 10 times funnier when they don't know it's coming, right? Even when it's a simple punchline, dog, which I try and stay away from, but sometimes there's no going around it. It's just a simple here you go joke, right? So yeah, it's like the misdirection is key, dog. And I do tell a lot of comics, man, if I don't know exactly the formula how to always tell you how to do it, but I always tell people disguise your punchline as much as can. So when a comic asks me for advice and I'll watch him, and I already know where it's going. I know where you're going with this. I see where it's going. Here it comes. There it is. Right. So then I tell that guy, fool, I knew where you were going with that joke, bro. At the car, blah blah blah, this and that. I knew you were gonna go to your car sucks. I knew that's where your car was going. That the joke was going. Okay. I'm not telling you to lose a joke. The joke is fine. The punchline is fine. Just hide it from us more, dog. Hide it from us. Give us a little this and that. What exactly? I'll give them like little taglines, maybe, depending on the joke. I can't think of a specific joke right now, but I've had this conversation many times with comics. Because they'll ask me the same thing, like, how do you do that? Like, I didn't know you were going there, like kind of thing. How did you do that?
I think the way you do it, and this clip's a great evidence of that is in the setup. So with your son being gay, you felt them all tighten up. They're like, ooh, but then you're like, I'm cool with that. Now you're on the right side of that. Yeah. And then you're like, but this other gay kid who's but you've made the analogy like he's like just like what the norm is that it's the girl or the boy that your girl's dating. And now you're safe to play in that space. And so it's in the setup that allows you to, I think, disguise some of those things and hit harder.
Yeah, it is in the setup, of course. It is in the setup. As you get to the punchline, just disguise it more, man. But then sometimes also what works is like you kind of tell what people are thinking, right? Like it's okay. It's if it's on me, if it's my family, but if it's somebody else's family, I don't give a fuck about the other family kind of shit, right? So. Yeah. I don't know, but yeah, there's definitely
took it all the way to those like dating stereotypes because I think that everyone kind of expects you to stop with, it's pretty common. You hear different people say like, "Oh, if my kid was gay, I would support him," and that's kind of the end of the conversation. And you found a way to keep pushing deeper and further into the stereotypes of dating that there's no way you could have guessed that you were going to go that far down that road. That's just so fun.
Yeah, and it starts with like my tagline. Those are some of my first jokes. Like before, I wrote that joke before I even had kids, dog. So that joke was like what I would say that joke, but when I first started, it was like I think my wife was pregnant. I was married. My wife was pregnant, and they're like, "What are you gonna do if your kid turns out to be gay?" And that was, so that's how old that joke was. My son is 10 years old at the time or something now. So it was like that's a 10-year-old joke right there. Yeah. I finally made it on TV.
You also do analogies very well. So that the analogy of the dating, then women for Mother's Day get this, and this, and then dads get this, and there's the punch. Chuck E. Cheese, obviously, as it compares to a casino, is brilliant. And so, how are you making those connections? Where are you finding those connections? Are you seeking them, or they seek you?
I think at the end of the day, it's things that bother me, bro, because these are all things I've said out loud with family, with friends. It's simple as that, fool. Simple as that. I remember being at a Mother's Day celebration, celebrating my baby's mama when we were still together, and we made this whole thing for her. Like, it was like we literally got her a mariachi to come in because it was for her mom and for my wife at the time. It was my wife and her mom. We got her mariachi. We got her this. We catered this expensive ass fucking food, dog. All for Mother's Day, right? It was like a sting. And I remember for Father's Day, we literally didn't do shit. We like the day before, we're like, hey, so what are we doing tomorrow? And my wife at the time was like, you should go buy some meat. You should go get some meat for us to grill. Yeah. I'm like, bitch. So I mean, these are things that would bother me, and that's where that comes from. Being in Chuck E. Cheese with the kids, again, it was like these motherfuckers don't want to leave. They're addicted, bro. Like they're gambling their asses off. I'm here in the booth and the table. I'm ready to go, dog, but they're not. Fool. They're begging me like little crack kids. Like, please, 5 more minutes. Please, $5 more. Please, I'm almost there. I'm this close, and this close to winning something. Which that's how high a stack of tickets need to be, dog, to get something. So there's a lot of that. So it's just like it's all real life shit, dog. Everything I talk about is real life shit. Like even with my kids, that's one of my first jokes I wrote about my kids when they were babies. Now I got 3. I got a little 6-year-old, but I got 2 older ones, 13 and 14. When they were 3 and 4, one was one of his like his mom's side, super white looking kid. He's white as fuck. I even kind of didn't know if he was mine. And then the other one is dark as shit. He looks just like me. So so it was like night and day. So at first it was night and day, but then it became closer and closer, right? So I made it into a 9 o'clock, 11 o'clock situation.
Yeah.
Everything's real, bro. Like as close to real as possible, right? I exaggerate it. I love to vent. I love to vent. I love to talk shit, but I'm not gonna do nothing about it. So all I do is vent, fool.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I totally I love writing stuff that has a more than just a nugget of truth. Like I like to write stuff that has a lot of truth to it because it just feels honest. It feels like no one can rip it off. It feels like this is my story and it's personal to me, and it's a way to write unique comedy and kind of make it I think just a little different from other people's material because it's so personal and real, really happened.
Yeah. But what I will say is when you're writing jokes kind of like my genre is about like venting and complaining and stuff like that, you have to be careful not to be a downer and not to be a bitter motherfucker on stage either, bro. At the end of the day, you still want to make people laugh.
Yeah.
So you have to make it as friendly, as cool as possible. It's like it's one way to be bitter and salty, and there's another thing to be just vent and complain at funny situations, right? So you got to be careful because there's a lot of comedians who go up there like effing this, I hate that. Don't you notice these guys are assholes and blah blah blah? And it's like, bro, that's not what the bit is. That's not the joke. You're just talking shit now, fool. At the end of the day, you still have to make everybody laugh. I'm complaining, and that's special about being a father. You know, about getting the short end of the stick. I'm complaining, but I'm not talking down on anybody or anything, dog. You know, at the end of the day, I'm still trying to make everyone laugh. Make any sense?
Yeah. Also, like some comics. There's a couple that come to mind, and their whole act is so negative. Like they never break. They never change it up. It can kind of feel like if I'm listening to someone do 20, 30, 45 minutes and they're just angry the entire time.
It's funny for the first 5 minutes.
Yeah, it kind of gets exhausting as an audience member. You get burnt out on that stuff. Yeah.
Yep.
That's a good point.
Well, I'm gonna transition into our last segment. Bear with us for a quick graphic, Jerry. It's a little morbid. I'm sorry. Okay. So, all right. So it's called Last Laugh. And this is the joke to be remembered by. It could be your joke, somebody else's joke that you respect. But what is the joke that you're going to put on your tombstone?
Well, my career started taking off when I started talking about my kids and being a single father. I think that's when my career started taking up the most. And I really found myself on stage. So my favorite joke has always been like, it's not my weekend. I love being a father, especially when it's not my weekend. Yeah. So maybe when my tombstone is gonna be like, this man loved being a father, especially when it wasn't his weekend. It's really that, dude. It was one of those things where it was a funny guilt situation where like I found myself enjoying missing my kids. If that made any sense, right? So like, it wasn't my weekend. I woke up that Saturday morning like, fuck, today's gonna be a good day. Like, sorry, kids. But today's gonna be a good one. I feel it. I feel this weekend is gonna mean something good, and that's how that joke came about. And it doesn't make me love my kids any less, but man, not having them around was a pretty sweet deal too. You know, there's a joke there's a new joke where I'm talking on stage where I wrote about how I'm arguing with my attorney because he got me 50% right custody, and I'm like, bro, I don't want 50%, dog. I want every other weekend like my friends. You know that. What am I paying you for, dog?
Yeah. Well, speaking of not my weekend, you do actively have a podcast. It's Not My Weekend, which is great. A lot of stuff about the kids and all that, right? Anything else you want to share where people can find you? Dates or anything you want to get in here?
Instagram is the best way, dog. Instagram comedian Jerry G. I'm very active there. Obviously, I'm on TikTok now, so I'll be posting some stuff on TikTok. I'm on Pandora, Spotify, iTunes for my special. The special, you can find it on all that shit, all the platforms, bro. Spotify's and the Pandoras and the Sirius XMs and all that stuff, man. It's Raw Dog Comedy Channel, all that. It'll pop up. Just search for me, dude.
Comedian Jerry G on Instagram. Jerry, thanks again for your time today, man. Thanks for hanging out with us and sharing a little bit about your writing and your career. It's been really awesome. We hope to see you in Houston soon.
Yeah, thank you, fool. I'll be out there soon, man. I'm coming out to Pasadena, Texas in May, and other than that, I'll be back in Phoenix, Arizona later in April. But let me see if I can find a real quick. I believe it was the last weekend in May. Yeah, 28th and 29th. I'll be in Pasadena, Texas, May 28th, 29th.
There you go, Houston people. Make sure you get out there and support Jerry Garcia in Pasadena, end of May. Really funny guy. Thanks again for the time.
Thank you guys for having a good one, man. Appreciate
Thanks for joining.
Good job. No problem.
Thanks for listening to Breaking Down Bits. You can keep in touch or get more when you follow @BreakingDownBits on social media, visit the website breakingdownbits.com, or shoot us an email at breakingdownbits@gmail.com.